Wraeclast Weekly, a show about past week's comings and goings in Path of Exile. Hello fellow exiles, today we'll cover Heist news and look at Path of Exile's podcasts in celebration of International Podcast Day. First, let's look at roadmap after second week of Heist. A lot of problems with the league mechanic were identified, and next week we will see a content update with all the proposed changes. Adjustments that look most interesting are experience gain boost, which hopefully will make Heists more comparable to maps. Door opening speed is another big one. No more twiddling your thumbs for 15 seconds waiting on Tulina the Thumbelina rolling around the vents while we are accosted by baddies. Finally, we have the reward changes, which I'm sure most Wraeclastians are looking forward to, as we all are partial to some shinies. On Thursday, we saw a small patch that solved some heist problems and fixed some bugs. Noteworthy change is that Rogue Harbor is now a solo area. No more getting poked in the eye by someone else's wings while crowding around the stash. This means that now leaving Grand Heist between wings should always result in you being put in the right instance. Another notable bug fix in this patch is that your Animate Guardian can now again lose all the gear upon death. All you summoners out there, no more Mission Impossible for Bob, alright? On another note, we saw a small tip from Empyrean Gaming on Twitter, where he discovered that blueprint reveals are capped at 255. Reveals are generated by doing heists where you get at least one reveal upon successful completion, so don't be too min-maxy with your heists. We will be back after the short commercial break with more stories. Stay tuned! Playing Path of Exile for the first time and feeling overwhelmed? Dying all the time and don't know what you're doing wrong? Always broke and don't know how to make money? Want to get the maps on the first day, but it somehow always takes you 20 hours? Don't worry, today is your lucky day. In Zizern's Path of Exile University, you will learn all that and more, with knowledgeable guest professors teaching you all the ins and outs of Path of Exile. You will be able to tackle any problem. Sign up today for no special benefit at all before all unlimited spots are gone, and take your Path of Exile fate in your own hands. Welcome back. In other news, as International Podcast Day was last week and we've entered the golden age of podcasts in Path of Exile, here's a showcase of the latest and greatest our community has to offer. Starting with one of the greats, Wraeclast, a podcast running for several years with more in-depth discussions and major guests like Managing Director of Grinding Gear Games, Chris Wilson. Hosted by Tarky Cat, RaceQT, Ziggy D, Noogie, and Octavian. Following that, we have Faded Connections, a PoE chat featuring a variety of guests in every episode and hosted by Catmaster and Baylor Mage. Moving on to Forever Exiled, a dynamic duo, Tags and Wrecker of Days sharing their obsession with Path of Exile with the wider audience, sometimes featuring guests. One of the newer splashes in the podcast pond is Baited Expectations, a more softcore point of view with great insights from the hosts Pie by Pie, Velina, Brilny, and Kid and Cat Noodle. And the most recent addition, Inspired Learning, a conversation all about Path of Exile with hosts Yoji and Badger. For our Spanish-speaking Wraeclastians, we have La Era del Gaming, astute conversations about ins and outs of Path of Exile. That was all for this week's events. This was Mar, and this was Wraeclast Weekly.